Square Enix. Deck 9. Ah, Life is Strange Before the Storm. You're not gonna be happy about me saying this, but here it goes. This game is actual dog shit. This game is so ass, it makes me want to write an apology letter to the first game for shitting on it in my first video. Life is Strange Before the Storm is a dog shit prequel that shouldn't exist to a game I already didn't like. A lot of the game is just pointless references to the first game. It doesn't expand on anything or add much to the first game's story like an actual good prequel would. The new characters are just dull and uninteresting. The returning characters only exist just to be like, hey, remember me? And the story is tone deaf, retarded, and heavily rushed. Let's make a prequel that nobody asked for to a game that doesn't need one to do a terrible job. Yes, I too thought the best Resident Evil game was the shitty one that didn't need to exist. Look, I don't know what you want me to say about this game. It's a stupid game made for stupid people that shouldn't exist. A failed aborted fetus that was born by mistake and now forced to roam this earth with no purpose. I'm starting to realize why I don't normally sit in games I don't like, because I start to sound like a little bit of a dickhead when I do. If you like this game for whatever reason, that's fine, but I'll personally never understand why. The voice acting is dog shit, damn near on par with a Darman video, talking about some, we're not just telling stories, we're changing lives ass dialogue. Everyone in this game for whatever reason pauses during their lines. Also, just by the way, why does this prequel to a choice-based game have choices? Actually, better question, why are you allowing the player to make non-canonical decisions that will end up being nullified by the time the first game starts? All the mystery behind Chloe and Rachel's relationship is now gone because this game exists. Speaking of Chloe and Rachel's relationship, in the first game, you find out that Rachel ended up cheating on Chloe with both Frank and Mark Jefferson. Since this is a prequel to the first game, why wasn't that ever explored or expanded upon in this game? A rewrite of the game's story as well as throwing in a couple of gameplay sections where you play as Rachel could have easily fixed this problem. By the way, speaking of Chloe Price, if you saw my video on the first Life is Strange, then you already know that I fucking hated this blue-haired cunt. So imagine my surprise when I found out who I was forced to play as the entire game. Now, despite how much I hate Chloe, it is possible to undo my loathing of Chloe, but undoing my loathing of Chloe is gonna take some pretty good quality writing, but like I said earlier, this game does not have good writing. Chloe in Before the Storm is not really all that much better than she was in the first game, and they kinda failed at undoing my loathing of Chloe. She starts off the game as a bitch and ends off as a bitch, with the only difference being that she has blue in her hair and a manipulative sociopath as her sidekick. Chloe is already this punk rebel type girl from the beginning, meaning the transformation from an innocent girl coupling with the loss of her dad and her best friend moving away to being this angst-ridden rebel type girl is non-existent. This is a prequel to the first Life is Strange game, and because Chloe is now the main protagonist, wouldn't this be something you should explore?
I can't believe Firewalk is playing a show at the old mill. Fuck yes!
Oh right, I forgot to mention. Apparently because of the voice acting strike that was going on when this game came out, Ashley Birch is no longer voicing Chloe this time around. Because of that voice actor strike, all the returning characters got new voice actors. Now if I'm gonna be honest, I don't like any of the new voice actors' performance, and I'm someone who's usually open-minded to new voice actors voicing old characters so long as they do a good job. The new voice actors for returning characters sort of sound like they're doing really awful impressions of whoever voiced that character in the first game. I'm sorry, but I don't like Rihanna DeVries' performance as Chloe. She just doesn't have the same spunk and attitude that Ashley Birch brought to the table. This game wants me to take it seriously, by the way. Since you're no longer playing as Max, meaning you can't rewind time anymore, this game's replacement for that is Chloe being able to backtalk people to get what she wants. There is no way Deck 9 really gave Chloe a fucking rap battle mechanic. We went from being able to manipulate time to talking shit about people. I am honest to God trying my best not to laugh right now. The devs at Deck 9 claim that Chloe has a wicked wit, but her wicked wit, as well as having a tongue so sharp that it could sway any conversation in her favor, is as sharp as a round object.
Maybe I am a kid, because this place looks like a damn playground to me. Then I hope you're a better plumber than you are a mechanic. Please. Kicking your ass is going to be a piece of cake.
Fine, $20, thief.
That guy's a dick.
That guy's a dick for wanting to make a little money on the side for what seems to be a free concert. In the first game, Chloe is actually left-handed, which is why she did a lot of the things with her left hand, but in Before the Storm, she's just right-handed for no reason.
Holy shit! I'm rich!
Now, I'm not gonna sin this game for Chloe being able to steal money from someone, because this is the same inconsiderate dickhead who wanted to steal money from the handicap fund to pay off her debt to Frank in the first game. So doing something like this is very much in her character. Though I will say $200 is not rich.
Of course. As soon as you give me the $175 you owe me.
Wait, Chloe owes you money? Didn't you say that Chloe buys pot for you every month for a year?
I know your name, you idiot. You bought pot for me every month for a year.
So why is Chloe still in debt? Besides, this isn't even how she gets in debt in the first game. Not long before the first game begins, Chloe makes the mistake of borrowing money from her drug dealer, Frank, to work towards getting out of Arcadia Bay. Chloe literally tells Max this while laying on the train tracks in episode 2 of that game. So let me ask again, why is Chloe in debt?
You spilled my beer, bitch!
And you're somehow more upset now than when Chloe actually bumped into you? Besides, you were about to walk into a mosh pit with a bottle full of beer, and you were expecting not to have it spilled on you anyway? Also, even if you choose the option to apologize to Sheldon after spilling beer on him, he still gets mad enough to confront you later. What is even the point in this game pretending to be choice-based? Your choices in this game quite literally change almost nothing. The option to apologize to Sheldon does nothing but a simple dialogue change. Bro's really about to murder a 16-year-old girl with her spilled beer. It's really not that serious. Rachel Amber. Also, Rachel Ex Machina. This entire plot point makes no sense. If you chose to place a photo in the dresser in episode 1, you'll just find it in a different drawer in episode 3, making this entire thing pointless.
Coming, Mom.
They still couldn't load up the entire house even in the remaster version. I understand the original version of this game was developed on Unity, but this remaster runs on Unreal Engine 4, and most of the areas are just copy and pasted assets from the first game anyway. Joyce is doing everything she can to support Chloe while Chloe flushes her scholarship down the toilet, and David is actively trying to help Chloe. Chloe in this game is just a massive asshole to both of them. Chloe keeps doing shit that makes her mom worry by doing drugs, sneaking out at night, and staying out late while not bothering to text her mom back, and is overall just somewhat disrespectful to her mom on some level without the player's agency. On the other side of the same coin, there's David, who seems like he just wants to help Chloe to get over the loss of her dad, and Chloe just keeps attacking David, and an example of this is being able to initiate a backtalk towards David in the car. All David was trying to do was express his concern for Chloe and how what she's doing is making her mom stressed and worried, and Chloe's just being a straight up bitch about it. This is the character I'm supposed to root for? Someone who constantly attacks or pushes people away? The worst thing David did throughout the entire game was complain about Chloe taking forever to get ready or calling her girly, and that's not enough to make me really hate him. Having Chloe ignite an argument with someone who just wants to express their concern is just making Chloe look like a straight up dickhead, and it doesn't show all that much insight about the person she's interacting with. More fuel needs to be added to the fire. I need more reasons to hate the people that Chloe dislikes and not the other way around. Sure, Chloe's grieving over the loss of her dad and her best friend moving away, but that shouldn't excuse her behavior towards her mom and doing stuff that makes her stressed and worried while also throwing away her scholarship.
Hey, Elliot.
I heard you had a hell of a night. I mean, people are talking about it.
Guy likes girl that doesn't like him back cliche. Also, I really gotta give a slow clap to Deck 9. They somehow managed to make a character more worthless and more of a where's my hug at guy than Warren from the first game. Most of my complaints about Elliot are pretty much exactly the same as my complaints about Warren from the first game. Only there's no half-assed underdeveloped romance thrown into the last act of the game for the sake of it this time. I forgot to bring this up, but why does Chloe write her objective on her hand? I'm willing to bet that even people with short-term memory loss can remember to do the things on Chloe's hand without writing on their hand.
Tell what, Victoria? It's a photo.
But it's on Facebook.
No, Victoria. It was posted on a site called Nodface according to Chloe's computer earlier in the episode. Also, speaking of Victoria, her age in this game doesn't make any sense. Let me explain. Victoria was born in August 1995, which would make her 18 by the time the first game starts, since the first game is set in October of 2013. Keep in mind, Victoria in the first game is supposed to be the same age as Max, and Max is a year younger than Chloe. This game is set in May of 2010, which is 3 years before the events of the first game. So how is it that in this game, both Chloe and Victoria are both 16, but by the time the first game starts around 3 years later, Victoria is 18 and Chloe is 19? The math isn't mathing. By the time before the storm takes place, Victoria should actually be 14, about to turn 15 in a few months since her birthday is in August, and before the storm takes place in May. To rub some additional salt into the wound, Victoria in the first game states that the whole reason she came to Blackwell was because of Mark Jefferson. If you chose the option to blame Mark Jefferson at the end of episode 2 of the first game, Victoria in episode 3 will literally write on her social media page that the major reason she came to Blackwell was because of Mark Jefferson. And in episode 4, after the Everyday's Heroes contest, Victoria literally says, "It was your incredible photography that brought me to Blackwell, and I hope I can live up to your name and fame." The reason I am telling you this is because Mark Jefferson is not at Blackwell by the time before the storm takes place, and Mark Jefferson was the whole reason why Victoria came to Blackwell in the first game. So since Mark Jefferson isn't here, why the hell is she here in Before the Storm?
You even asked for the director's cut, which took out the shitty voiceover and replaced it with a sweet dream sequence.
Steph, I just came to get my DVD. I did not ask to be given a Death Stranding level exposition dump on fucking Blade Runner. This is why I can't completely take it seriously whenever this game tries to be grounded.
You guys, stop! Chloe, do something! Don't just stand there watching!
How about you do something? I'm sorry, but I really don't like Kylie Brown's performance as Rachel in this game. Whenever she tries to have a normal conversation with someone like Chloe, such as this scene for example.
Chloe Price.
Rachel Amber.
Last night was amazing.
I'd never seen Firewalk live. Pretty fierce show.
We'll have to do it again. To tell the truth, I went to bed last night wishing it never had to end. But then I thought, why? Why does it have to end?
Maybe it doesn't have to end.
Exactly.
Rachel can noticeably sound unnatural, weird, and sometimes a little creepy, even during what is supposed to be a normal conversation without acting fake. On top of that, it also has no real charm to it. I already said earlier that I didn't like Rihanna DeVries' performance as Chloe in this game either. That, along with Kylie Brown's performance as Rachel together, sounds awful because you can tell there's no chemistry. Rachel, you gave Chloe a nail file so she can use the unscrew a metal object to open the viewfinder. Are you not gonna ask Chloe what happened to the nail file you gave her?
Wrong answer. You don't ask a girl out and then not buy her a drink.
First of all, prick, you brought me here, not the other way around.
Can we help you? Oh my god!
How can you expect me to think that our main characters are smart when everyone around them has incredibly smooth brains or the IQ of a kindergartner?
No.
This game sucks at being funny.
I'm just saying, I understand.
No, you really don't. Fuck!
There is nothing that Chloe just said that would have prompted you to do that.
Please. I don't want to be alone anymore.
You met her last night. What are you getting so emotional about? I don't mean to come off as an insensitive asshole, but these two met each other around 9 p.m. at the old mill. This junkyard scene is happening around 5 to 6 p.m. the following day, and these two are acting like they're going through a breakup after a year-long relationship or something. It's really not that deep. This is what I mean when I said the game's story felt rushed, because the pacing is way too fast. Why would I tell a person I literally just met and known for less than a day that we're more than just friends? I genuinely do not know how people can look at scenes like this while knowing the context behind it and being like, this is so sad and emotional.
So when I saw he got a text from an unknown number asking him to meet,
How are you even able to find out that your dad was getting a text from an unknown number in the first place?
remember that biker asshole who wouldn't let you into the mill? You talked your way right past him.
You were already in the middle dancing in the mosh pit by the time that happened. There is no way you would have been able to witness that.
What about Drew? When he was picking on Nathan, you got right in his face and called him out.
There is also no way you've been able to witness Chloe bad-talking Drew. You were inside the building looking for Chloe, and I know you were looking for Chloe because of the way you ran out before running into her.
What I wouldn't give to leave this place and never look back.
What's stopping us?
You're both underage minors who have no job and can't really live on your own because, again, you're both underage minors. You have no money, nowhere to go, and have no experience in anything to even get a job in the first place. You currently have no form of transportation. You're gonna have nothing to eat and be homeless because, again, you have no money. Also, are you seriously planning on running away with someone you just met and known for less than a day? Are you smoking right next to a forest fire? When Chloe broke into Principal Wells' office with Max in the first game, there were lines that sort of implied that Chloe had never been in Principal Wells' office before. She even commented on both the art on the wall as well as the bronze bird statue as if she had never seen it before. Yet in Before the Storm, not only do we see Chloe walking into the same office with the same art on the wall, but even the bronze bird statue is present in the room right in front of her when she sits down. Meaning the whole idea of Chloe being in Principal Wells' office for the first time in the first game is completely retconned now thanks to this game's existence. Is it me, or is this prequel kind of ruining the story of the first game a little bit? Because why would Chloe be commenting on the wall art as well as the bronze bird statue if she had already seen it 3 years prior in this game? I know this entire area, and hell, most of the areas in this game are just copy and pasted assets from the first game like I pointed out earlier, but Deck 9 could have at least attempted to hide their laziness by changing up the room a bit.
Okay, reality check time. Yesterday did actually happen.
Hold up, from the time the last episode ended, you would have had to go home late, wake up, get ready, and have your mom drive you to school, arrive at the principal's office late, and you're just now having a reality check?
We agreed that you would rededicate yourself to becoming an exemplary Blackwell citizen.
Blackwell citizen? This is not a country, this is a school.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Miss Price.
Mrs. Price.
Joyce, your former husband died 2 years ago and you haven't gotten remarried to David yet. If you chose to take the blame for Rachel, it'll ignite a backtalk challenge against Principal Wells. If you win the backtalk challenge, Rachel will get to perform at the Tempest and Chloe will get expelled. It's safe to say that this is the canonical option since we already know from the first game that Chloe gets expelled. However, there are 2 problems here. 1, if you choose to go along with Rachel's lie, Rachel will not get to perform at the Tempest and Chloe will get suspended. What is even the point in allowing me to pick a non-canonical option if it's just gonna get nullified by the time the first game starts? And 2, this game is set in May of 2010. But in the first game, Max is able to find Chloe's report card in Principal Wells' office that shows that Chloe actually got expelled in May of 2011, which is a full year after this game takes place.
I'm a lone wolf, and you're Little Red Riding Hood. Welcome to grandmother's house, bitch.
Which one of you devs at Deck 9 wrote this corny ass dialogue into the script? By the way, what kind of a name is Skip Matthews? What parent just randomly decided to name their kid Skip? I swear, the music is literally the only good thing about this game.
I'm surprised it took this long, too.
Do you want a hug?
You know, I was partly joking when I said that Elliot was more of a where's my hug at guy than Warren from the first game.
I admit to you being a fascist, and I don't take orders from fascists.
You would hate living in the United States in 2025 then. David, that muscle car only has 2 seats and there are 3 of you. How are you all planning to get home in David's muscle car? That welcome mat did not completely cover that hole. Gotta love how you can see Chloe sitting there in the distance doing nothing while she's supposed to be honking the horn.
Hasn't anyone ever told you not to fall asleep with a lit cigarette? You could start a fire.
I know you're not talking as if you didn't start an entire wildfire at the end of the last episode. How does Rachel's bag full of clothes somehow have some of the exact same clothes that Chloe has in her wardrobe at home? This right here is actually another retcon. The way that Frank owned Papadu in the first game was that he would bet on dogfights before having a change of heart and saving a bunch of dogs and even keeping one for himself. Hell, Max can even use this in episode 4 of that game to convince Frank to help them find Rachel. But in Before the Storm, that's been retconned to the dog just being gifted to Frank by Damon Merrick. It's almost like the morons at Deck 9 were like, wouldn't it be cool if we explained how Frank ended up owning Papadu, even though it was already explained in the first fucking game? Whipping scenery.
It's okay, little guy.
Pompidou, get up here!
Pompidou.
Oh, and I almost missed this one. Chloe knowing Papadou's name and even being in Frank's RV is another canon inconsistency. There's a line that Frank tells Max and Chloe in the first game where he says, the only way that you would know my dog's name is if you broke into my RV. That line not only implies that Chloe should know Papadou's name, but also that Chloe has never been inside Frank's RV prior to episode 3 of that game. But of course, that's been retconned because the people over at Deck 9 don't know how to do anything right.
I had this dream the other night about a cloud that swallowed Arcadia Bay.
You too?
There is really no point in Chloe bringing this up to Frank. It has nothing to do with the woman exiting his RV. Therefore, it has nothing to do with the Bat Talk challenge since the entire point is to get information from Frank about the woman leaving his RV. Chloe isn't even really back talking by bringing it up. It's just a reference to the first game that will for some reason give you points towards winning the Back Talk challenge.
Open my notebook. Last page.
Frank told Chloe to open to the last page of his notebook. Chloe just opens to the middle of the page and finds Drew's name. Chloe's supposed to be going to Drew's room in the boys' dormitory. This is actually the girls' dormitory from the first game. It even has the same layout and everything. Absolutely unreal. This prequel is even repeating problems from the first game now. All the stuff from the first game that you retconned and this is what you decided to keep? Strange how that suspicious person is walking right next to that sprinkler that just conveniently broke.
Women's business, Skip. As in, my uterus? I need to use the restroom.
If I were Skip in this situation, I would ask Chloe why she would need to go inside the boys' dormitory at a school she just got expelled from just to use the bathroom.
You just looked at my tits. You did.
Guys, how do we tell her? If he failed the Bat Talk challenge against Skip, he just ends up quitting his job, which I guess makes sense since Dave will end up being the security guard at Blackwell by the time the first game starts. However, Skip doesn't really quit his job if you win the Bat Talk challenge against him, meaning it wouldn't be possible for David to end up being the security guard at Blackwell. Please do not tell me you failing the Bat Talk challenge is what leads you down the canonical route in this instance. Frank told Chloe in his RV that it would be easier for Chloe to walk on campus and sneak into the boys' dormitory than for someone like him. Demon Merrick looks even skeevier than Frank and he's just able to waltz right on the campus and into the boys' dormitory no problem.
Who the hell is that?
What do you mean, who is that? You saw a picture of him in Frank's trailer.
When will you learn that this isn't about you and your problems? This is about the Prescott name.
The Prescott name relies on a high school play? Don't you guys pretty much own Arcadia Bay?
Don't you have, like, a private bunker filled with gold coins where you could have these conversations?
I don't know what this game was trying to do with that line, but whatever it was, it flew right over my head. When I recorded this episode, I got Chloe expelled and Rachel got to be a part of the play. If you go down that route, you'll come across Victoria attempting to drug Rachel with muscle relaxers. This makes sense since we're not supposed to like Victoria, right? Well, if you go down the non-canonical route where Chloe gets suspended and Rachel doesn't get to be a part of the play, this is what happens.
Oh, Price, that was epic. You distracted her just long enough for me to slip those pills into her tea.
I'm sorry, what the fuck? Rachel drugs Victoria and Chloe finds nothing wrong with that? The first game treats people being drugged for a person's own malicious intent as something bad, as it should. But in this game, it's just shrugged off to the side and it was never brought up again because it was Rachel doing it. And I'm supposed to take this plot seriously? It's wrong when Mark Jefferson drugs a girl so he can get what he wants, but it's fine when Rachel does it. Again, Chloe finds nothing wrong with this, and apparently neither do Life is Strange fans, since I haven't really seen anyone call this out. Now, let me paint a scenario for anyone who still might try to defend this. Let's say one night, you and your friend go to a bar. Your friend goes to spike someone's drink for whatever malicious intent they have to get what they want. He or she then turns to you, then tells you that they just spiked someone's drink. Are you not gonna find something wrong with that like a normal person would, or are you just gonna do what Chloe does and just shrug it off? Now look, I know Victoria isn't exactly the nicest person, but that still shouldn't make it okay or morally acceptable to drug someone just because they're mean. It's still wrong to drug someone regardless. Let's go back to that example I gave about your friend spiking someone's drink. Let's say that person's drink that got spiked was someone you didn't really like too much because they used to be the teacher's pet that would remind the teacher of homework back in the day. Now, with that added context I gave, is it now okay for your friend to spike that person's drink? If you answered with anything other than no, that really says a lot about you as a person. To the people who rightfully answered no to that question, why is it wrong for your friend to drug someone at a bar to get what they want, but it's okay for Rachel to drug another girl to get what she wants? I know Chloe is retarded, but what would it take for Chloe to take off those thick rose-tinted glasses and start questioning the morality of her friend's actions? Is this supposed to be dramatic irony or something? Because if it is, that's actually worse because they're treating a girl getting drugged as a joke, which quite literally ruins the story of the first game, since the first game treats girls being drugged as something bad. It's not even funny if it's supposed to be. Also, what's with this white lighting effect? It doesn't matter how badly you mess up on stage, your performance will still be well received regardless. I guess choices and consequences don't exist apparently.
Didn't we already agree on stage?
We can't just...
Why not?
Rachel, I already brought this up earlier at the end of the first episode. I'm not going to repeat myself.
In other words, we've got transportation covered.
No, you don't. Chloe still has no idea if she can even get the truck working. If Chloe can't even get the truck to start, your entire plan to run away to LA pretty much falls apart. Even if Chloe gets the truck working, a chunk of that birthday money that your dad gave you will eventually have to go to gas money.
60 degrees every night, you and me on the Santa Monica Pier, gorging on food truck food, looking at the moon shining on the waves.
You're gonna be broke since you're eventually gonna have to use all that birthday money that your dad gave you on food truck food and or gas for Chloe's truck. You're both underage, have no job, no source of income, and no place to stay at Santa Monica Pier. Just in case you need to know the reason as to how this game sort of ruins the first game's timeline, if Rachel gave her bracelet to Chloe before the storm, how does Frank even get his hands on it, and why would Chloe even get mad at Frank for having it?
What is this?
It's obviously a sign!
No, it's ashes from the wildfire you started at the end of the last episode. This is something I forgot to bring up in the first episode, but Chloe said in the first game that Max was happy to wait 5 years without a call or even a text. And Max even wrote in her journal on Chloe's character page that she feels so lame for not even bothering to text Chloe during her time in Seattle. That pretty much confirmed that Max never texted or kept in contact with Chloe during her time in Seattle. And before the storm, when you go to Chloe's phone and read Max and Chloe's conversations, it's revealed that Max actually did text Chloe during her time in Seattle.
Integrity, honesty, loyalty. It's on your lawn.
How would you even know that? You didn't even look at the sign. You and Rachel ran past it.
That was apparent in your performance.
Ouch. Sick burn, Mrs. Amber.
I am actually dying of cringe. What happened to the place that Chloe just picked up?
It's imperative in such troubled times as these that we remember what is most important to us. Family's not merely a gift, it is a responsibility. As such, those we love must be cared for and never, ever taken for granted.
This is such an obvious setup for hypocrisy that my eyes would fall directly out of their sockets if I could roll them any harder.
No, you blow me, Rachel.
That would definitely please some portion of the Life is Strange fan base.
I can't sit here.
What happened to the dialogue?
You lying, cheating piece of shit, motherfucker.
No offense, Mr. Amber, but I think we trust our eyes more than you.
That's enough! You are not welcome here or around my daughter any longer.
What your own daughter just told you was a lot worse than what Chloe just said. No, not the salad. Also, there were lit candles on the table. That should have started the fire over in the house.
That woman you saw, that wasn't my mistress. That was your mother.
What type of Metal Gear Solid plot twist is this?
Shadows settle on the place.
Like I said earlier, the music is literally the only good thing about this game. Those footprints were not there earlier. The rest of this game is pretty much about Rachel trying to find her biological mom who chose money and drugs over her. I'm sorry, I thought this game was supposed to be about Chloe and Rachel's relationship leading up to the first game. On top of that, this game only has 3 episodes with a heavily rushed story, meaning they have to cram a lot into 1 episode even though they clearly have enough material to stretch out into 5 episodes. This game relies way too much on it being a prequel rather than attempting to stand on its own. It never explores anything that's worth exploring in a prequel, and it can't even explore things like Rachel cheating on Chloe with Frank and Jefferson because this game only takes place within a couple of days, and you're only forced to play as Chloe. I'm sure I've already talked about how this game being a choice-based prequel to another choice-based game opens up a whole floodgate of problems that could have easily been avoided by not making it choice-based, or better yet, not making it at all. Some of the choices are so pointless that they could honestly just be removed and made into a very Kojima-long cutscene and it would make no difference. Hell, it might as well be a movie anyway since the gameplay barely exists. If you're going to make a pointless prequel to a game or movie that really doesn't need one, as long as you avoid doing everything before the storm does, you might be able to get away with it.
Do you think Sarah is involved with any of the drug dealers around here?
Yes, Chloe. Not only have you seen her leave Frank's RV, but if you initiated the backtalk challenge at the end of the last episode, Chloe can straight up admit to James that her and Sarah will use the exact same drug dealer, and this dialogue in episode 3 will stay exactly the same. Chloe truly is a dumbass.
The stars we're seeing have already been dead for millions of years.
I understand the metaphor, but no, Rachel. Most of the stars in the sky are not dead and are still living. The chances of you seeing a dead star is very low.
It's all lies. My entire life, my dad, my mom.
Hold up a second. Everything? So, both your dad, and I guess now technically your stepmom, loving you without question and giving you everything you've ever wanted, is now just suddenly nullified because of a lie they thought would be in your best interest to give you the best life possible by keeping you away from the junkie that chose money over your ungrateful ass? Please do not tell me the love between you and your stepmom is suddenly not real because you found out you and her don't share the same blood. That's not what you're telling me, right? Why do you have to be related to someone for your love to be real? Why would you even want to meet the junkie who picked money over you anyway? Also, just in case you haven't gotten the hint by now, yeah, I fucking hate Rachel.
You're not real. Rachel's family isn't real.
Rachel's family isn't real. What makes her family not real? Their stepmom doesn't have the same blood? Again, why do you have to be related to someone for your love to be real? You are actually able to make Chloe accept David as her stepfather even though she still hates him in the first game. Meaning the devs not only literally wrote themselves into a corner, but this is also very out of character for Chloe. Most people chose this option, by the way. Refusing the photo is definitely the canonical option, though it makes Chloe look like a needless, inconsiderate dickhead because all David is trying to do is help Chloe get over the loss of her dad. David is actually a really good guy in this game. What is wrong with the lighting in the remaster version?
Why is it that chicks think it's okay to hit me, but if I lay a single finger, suddenly it's a whole other thing?
It's because the way you grabbed her hand in a threatening way and used what you did to Drew to intimidate her. Also, Rachel didn't hit you, she pushed you.
No need to get crazy.
How did Frankie even get knocked over? It was only Demon who Rachel hit with the wooden board. We already know from the first game that Rachel dies from a drug overdose by Mark Jefferson a few months before the events of the first game. You are not fooling anybody by trying to make it seem like Rachel's gonna die.
Of course, whatever it takes.
Again, what happened to the dialogue? Did this blue-haired idiot just leave the front door open? Also, why does the district attorney leave a key under the mat? That's like the oldest trick in the book that everyone knows about that would make it incredibly easy for someone to break in. Great job, Chloe. Just leave your fingerprints behind. That won't let the DA know if someone's been in his office.
I'm so sick of you not seeing who Rachel really is. When will you realize what she's doing to you?
First night you hang out, what happens? You end up in a fight.
I can see why you'd think that, but it wasn't her fault.
It's never her fault. That's the point. Next day she convinces you to skip school. Magically, she barely gets in trouble, and you get expelled.
She did everything she could to protect me.
Was she protecting you when she made you take part in a play you didn't want to be in? She let you make a fool out of yourself. Rachel is an amazing actress, and I don't mean on stage. She's fake. You're real. And I hate to see her manipulate you like this.
Essentially, what Elliot is trying to say is that Rachel doesn't actually care about Chloe and that she's just manipulating her. You do not realize how much of a breath of fresh air it is to hear a character acknowledge Rachel's actions that forces Chloe to take off the thick rose-tinted glasses to confront, since what he's saying about Rachel is straight up facts. Here's the problem though. Elliot isn't telling Chloe all this because he cares about her and her safety and whatnot. He's telling her all this because he feels like Chloe isn't giving him enough attention and doesn't love him. Also, little minor complaints. What is with these Life is Strange games and just being ass at subtlety? When it comes to Elliot confronting Chloe about Rachel's behavior and actions, it would have been nice if they were a lot more subtle about it.
Elliot, please. I know you're upset, but
I'm not upset!
Elliot, you are making a mess in a house that you and Chloe shouldn't even be in right now.
Did you ever lie to me? I mean, really lied about something that might hurt me to know.
Why does Chloe question the morality of her dead dad but never question the morality of Rachel and her actions? Keep in mind, her dad is someone she knew her whole life up until the day he died 2 years prior to when this game takes place. Rachel is someone that Chloe literally just met a couple of days ago and she already trusts her so much to the point where she won't even question the morality of her behavior and actions. Why did I even bother sitting this game anyway? Was sitting this game a waste of time? I'm gonna leave it up to the view count of this video to determine that. Frank quite literally kills Demon by fighting him out of the script.
Chloe Price.
You know who I am?
I saw you in the play.
That still doesn't explain how you know her name.
No more sadness, no more grief. Why would anyone not want to feel that way?
Sarah is able to speak and sound perfectly fine after 15 years of being a heroin addict. If you choose to tell Rachel the truth, there's no audio and music just plays over it. If you chose to lie to her, you get a whole ass cutscene with voice lines and audio before the montage plays. The montage in question shows what Rachel and Chloe have been up to leading up to the events of the first game. Isn't that what this entire game should have been about in the first place? I've said it 1,000 times and I will say it again. This game is pointless and really didn't need to exist. You can literally skip Before the Storm and play the rest of the series and still be completely fine. That's just how pointless this game is. I have a question though. If you chose the ending where you lie to Rachel, wouldn't she eventually get suspicious of Chloe or her dad? Rachel is very smart and very good at reading people, meaning she would most likely use her brain to find out the truth anyway. It would be dumb to say that Rachel trusts Chloe this much when these two literally just met a couple of days ago. Oh my god, I forgot about the post-credit scene. The post-credit scene to me feels like something out of the MCU and this is the dumbest shit. Deck 9 is treating Mark Jefferson like he's fucking Amy at the end of Sonic 3 or some shit. No hate towards the Sonic 3 movie by the way, but I'm staring at this game and thinking to myself, this is so dumb. How the hell do people like this and want more of it? Look, I'm not saying you can't like something that I don't like, nor vice versa. All I'm saying is that I will never understand why these Life is Strange games are so highly praised, especially the one I'm sitting right now. Oh, what's that? The game's over? Good, time to uninstall.
I had this dream the other night about a cloud that swallowed Arcadia Bay.
You too?